Pardon the interruption, but I'm Mike Wilbon Tony. Today is no housework day.
I'm Tony Kornheiser, or as I call it, Monday.
You don't do any housework, I'm guessing, on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. You know why I know that? Because I don't do any housework on those days either.
You know what I'd like to do, though?
What?
I like to go grocery shopping.
Why?
I just enjoy it. I get a cart, a big cart. I go down every single aisle. I look at because I just like to do that.
You order them online? Order your groceries online?
Oh, no. I like to inspect the groceries.
You want to feel the fruit?
Yeah, the tomatoes.
Okay,
absolutely.
then, Mr. Whipple.
I like that. That's toilet paper. That's way
spewed
you're
over,
dating
didn't I?
yourself. Welcome to PTI, boys and girls. In today's episode, Roy Hibbert gets benched. A baseball executive suggests moving to 7-inning games. And Jay Billis joins us for 5 good minutes. But we begin today with the NCAA finals between Connecticut and Kentucky. Nominally, we have a number 7 seed and a number 8 seed. But realistically, we have two of the greatest programs of the last 20 years. Combined, they have won 1/3 of the NCAA title since 1996. Man. Wilbon, are you leaning towards UConn or Kentucky?
I'm not. I've gotten so much wrong in this tournament, Tony. I'm not leaning toward anybody. I just want to see the game.
I won the pool.
Congratulations.
Yes.
I'm not giving you my money. But, Tony, you know what's interesting? You referred to this. What I find about this game, this matchup, while people talk about the seeds, they're 7 and 8. It's the first time in history. Shut up with that. These are programs, two of the 15, 18, maybe 20 programs that go into every season are almost expecting to be in the Final Four. Yeah. They've won, I think, 11 national championships between these programs. There's no surprise that these teams are there. I don't want to hear the word upset. Kentucky's played in a string of fabulous games. It is never an upset to say Kentucky won or UConn
So you're
won.
not leaning anywhere?
No. Are you?
Well, I mean, everybody watches the games. I watched Florida against UConn.
That was my pool right there.
Right, they got a big guy, Patrick Young, Florida. And he can go lefty-righty. And every time they dumped the ball in, it seemed to me that he scored. And yet then they would spread it out and they would take, 50 seconds and bang. It wouldn't even hit the backboard. I expect Kentucky, with Julius Randle, to go inside, and I think that is the way they win. On the other hand, I don't know that Kentucky has ever faced guards like Napier and Boatwright. They're really quick, they're really good defenders, and they can turn and bounce. But if I have to lean, because that's the question, I'm going to lean towards Kentucky.
You know what's interesting, Tony, is that we always talk about this, having covered a million tournaments between us, about guard play, and specifically point guard play.
Yes.
And when you have a great point guard,
Napier's the best player on the court.
What you should do is you should list all 68 teams at the start of the tournament, and you should go and you should take out and say, who's got a player with the ball? Yeah. And I know one year that was Carmelo Anthony, even though he's at a point guard, he had the ball. But Napier's done this, and he's played alongside Kimball Walker at the beginning of his career, a great point guard. If I had to lean, I'd lean toward UConn, but I forget leaning. I just want to see the game.
One of the things that UConn has that will get talked about tonight, but hasn't been so far.
What?
They're a great foul shooting team. In the tournament, they have shot 90%. So if those guards are so quick that you have to foul them if you're Kentucky,
you're in trouble
and
late.
they get on the line,
have the lead,
they can actually beat you.
They have the lead, yeah. We talked a couple of times already, Tone, about whether John Calipari might leave Kentucky for the NBA if his Wildcats win tonight. But now comes the question via the LA Times of whether Kevin Ollie, who actually played in the NBA for 13 seasons, no less, might be of interest to the rebuilding Lakers of Los Angeles, where he grew up. So who do you think is the better NBA coaching prospect, Cal or Ollie?
Well, I think the one for whom moving to the NBA makes the most sense in the short term is Kevin Ollie. He's making $1.2 million at Connecticut. He will get at least 3 times that if he goes and he takes a professional job. And one of the things he's got going for him is apparently Kevin Durant is completely in love with Kevin Ollie.
From his time as a backup guard, and it might have been in Seattle, 2008-9, when he was just a workmanlike role player on that team.
So
Durant
if you
changed the culture.
That Durant, I mean, I think it's a stretch that Durant, as a free agent, is going to move to where Kevin Ollie is.
Yeah, let's not go there.
But what I'm saying is that makes him attractive to a team. The notion that he doesn't have the college coaching mentality yet, because he's been in the pros until 2010. Yeah. He's got an NBA mentality.
He does have an NBA mentality. Some of it you can see in sort of the way he goes about actually coaching the game. But, Tony, and there have been guys who've been successful right out of the booth, not even on the bench. There have been Pat Riley being one of them have had great success at their first NBA head coaching job. Phil Jackson, I think, came from the CBA, was not a head coach in the NBA before that. So I don't want to dismiss Ollie. I also think, though, that Cal, let's not just overlook Cal. Yes, Cal's done this, but don't you think that having done it once, that Calipari would be really circumspect about which job he took and how to do it a second time?
This is your issue. Your issue always is that Calipari has to leave Kentucky and he's got to go.
Has to. I think he
say
will.
This all the time.
I think he will.
That he wants the lure of the NBA.
I think he should.
And by the way, he sent about 3,000 players to the NBA in the last 10 years. All right, but the problem with Calipari is he's failed once. He can't afford to fail again. Kevin Ollie can go to the NBA and take money. John Calipari has to find a team with one of the 5 best players in the league. Because if you don't have that, you can't win. Are one of those jobs open right now with one of the great players?
Sit at the TV table for a little while.
Well, that's not what you said.
I said right now I would leave Kentucky. Did I stammer or stutter?
To sit in TV because he makes 10 times more than
he'll be in TV for 1 year, and then you pick a job with one of the players you mentioned.
He's got to have one of the great players, or he will fail again. The Indiana Pacers were apparently not fixed by their big recent win over Miami. In fact, the Pacers are rolling down the hill.
Backslide.
Yesterday, they lost to the marginal Atlanta Hawks by 19 at home in a game characterized by Frank Vogel benching all his starters and keeping Roy Hibbert there for the rest of time. Wilbon, in a strange case of life imitating art, our pal Bob Kravitz asked today if Vogel's job is safe. Should it be?
Absolutely, yes. Unequivocally, there's no question about this. I know they are in a slide. They have lost 7 of their last 9 games and 8 of their last 11.
And they
are in a free fall as they go into the playoffs. Apparently, they got about 4 games to get
Petty situation.
But here's why he can't go anywhere. Number of wins, regular season, 32, 37, 42, 49, 53. That's a minimum of +5 improvement. You get a +7 in there.
They stink right now.
In the playoffs. First round, second round, conference finals.
Great.
Now,
Thank you.
Vogel.
Thank you for the history lesson.
That's all you need.
They stink right now.
I don't care what they do right now.
They have a chance to win.
This was the started.
Whoa. This is the year that they were going to make the big move.
Is the year over?
The year is not over yet.
They've made a big move. They've already won they've already had +5.
You know the big move they've made in the last 2 weeks? Boom, down the hill.
What do you say about pro sports and the only thing that matters?
Playoffs. But they need a reboot situation. You know when your computer goes crazy, so you do what I do, you just pull the plug.
Yeah, that's what you do.
Pull the plug in.
And luckily somebody who
20
knows
seconds,
what they're doing
you put the plug back in, and you see what happens. Now, when the screen comes on again, you hope it comes on like it did in, say, November and December.
That's what it's done.
Because right now, the current Indiana Pacers are exactly the kind of situation where someone could look from afar and say, we got to make a drastic move.
But you don't make a drastic move when the numbers I pointed out to you suggest that they can get this turned around. You got to do it. But I talked to David West last week, and it's interesting. You know, Tony.
You told me this morning you thought they could lose in the first round.
I think they could lose in the first round or the second round, and they might. But they haven't done it yet. Let me ask you this.
So you want to wait for it to be over?
You don't think Frank Vogel has earned the benefit of the doubt with the numbers I just suggested?
He has absolutely earned the benefit of the doubt.
Then let me drop the mic.
But if you are a general manager who says, I think this is the year, and I'm terrified.
You didn't pick the coach? I mean, if you're the team president,
then
you didn't pick Frank Vogel? Leave Frank Vogel. Let him.
I like Frank Vogel.
You did not make a drop the mic case. You really didn't. My Northwestern Wildcats are close to voting to whether to unionize.
Drink.
Coach Pat Fitzgerald has told the players, quote, I believe it's in their best interest to vote no, close quote. Quarterback Trevor Siemian is quoted as telling the Associated Press, quote, I don't think a union is the answer for my team or for my university, close quote. A steelworkers union exec predicts the players will vote for a union.
Great.
Tone, how difficult a position is this for Pat Fitzgerald to be in?
How difficult? He works for his employer is Northwestern University. His alma mater is Northwestern University. It is very reasonable for the football coach at Northwestern University dealing with smart kids to say, you know what? I admire what they're doing, but I'm running a tight ship here, and I don't know that I want a union, and I'm proof that you don't need a union. So I think he can take that position very comfortably.
I think he can take it very comfortably because he's both things. And look, I'm conflicted, not as conflicted as Pat Fitzgerald, but it's also my university. And I'm on the board of trustees. So presumably I'm supposed to speak with this one voice about what the university wants. I, to some degree, admire these players because people pay lip service to student athletes. Our guys, they're students. They have done something, they've undertaken something that is academic, that took some brains and some guts to put out there. And most I don't know, uprisings, if you will, have started in the history of this country on campuses. And I'm okay with this one starting at Northwestern. Am I in favor of them actually voting to have a union? I don't know. I'm a little reticent on that. But it's going to be one player, one vote, Tony, and I don't know what's going to happen.
I think it's important to point this out. The NLRB can say you fit the category of employees. A union doesn't automatically happen. Okay, you have to vote for a union. I remember when I started out at Newsday on Long Island, we did not have a union. Union people wanted to organize, and at least once we turned down the union because management came back and gave us what we wanted. Now, it is possible, I think, that Northwestern, acting independently, can come back and give the players everything the players want. And by the way, if the players just want money, Northwestern is a rich private school that can afford to give them money.
I don't know how this will work with the NCAA, and it's the NCAA's own greed and short-sightedness and gutlessness that has led to kids saying, wait a minute, like Mark Emmert, your boy, who said, this is not the way, I'm teasing, this is not the way to get the NCAA's attention. Really? The only way to get the NCAA's attention is this. But if Northwestern adopts, and we do have things in place already that some other schools might not have, which is the guarantee of a scholarship.
This could be an advantage. At a rich school, this could be an advantage.
It could be, except this is not the only school that's going to have this vote, Tony, at some point. Other schools and other teams are going to have to.
That's way down the road. It's the first one.
Right, it is.
Buster Olney, writing for ESPN.com, quotes a baseball executive suggesting that the cure to all of baseball's ills may be shortening the game to 7 innings. The executive says this will make baseball more attractive to the very audience it is losing. Hello, young people with no particular attention span. Wilbon, you like the idea of a 7-inning baseball game?
Personally, yeah, with a 6-year-old who loves to go to baseball, see, 7's enough. Yeah. No, is there somebody who
they have 7-inning baseball? It's called high school baseball, and it's called college softball. They got this.
There are other ways to shorten the game if they're not lazy, like the NCAA. The people running baseball can simply say, here's what we're going to have. You don't step out of the box, or a pitcher can throw a pitch. There's no
the manager in the dugout.
Manager gets one trip out, and he can't send the catcher out first to delay. The pitching changes, the step out changes, the fix my glove changes.
Just play.
You can knock off 20 minutes a night just doing that.
This would be terrible on a lot of levels in terms of records. I mean, what baseball is about is numbers. And if you shorten the game to 7, you know,
destroy the record.
I don't know how this works. Then a really quality start for a pitcher is what, 3.5? Yeah. I don't know how that works. So I don't know that I would want this.
When do we sing at Wrigley Field?
Well, you can 4th inning if you want something like that.
Really?
The thing you think about, though, is, you know, the NBA didn't like the ABA when the ABA got formed, but they took the 3-point shot. They waited a while, but they took the 3-point shot. Maybe this needs a new league.
Rival league.
To see if younger people will go to baseball games. It does seem to me, though, that they haven't exhausted any of the possibilities to compress the game.
They want to go to the most dramatic thing possible before trying all the other things we would try in a day. If you and I are tag team commissioners for a week, we're going to shorten the game in half an hour.
40 minutes. I can.
I was going to say at least a half an hour.
I go 40 minutes right away. If I keep people in their seats.
There are people who are invested in the bucolic game that is timeless.
Baseball
has no time limits.
Hello, the Yellow Jake symmetry of baseball. Let's take a break. But coming up, which backcourt has the edge tonight? And who does Jay Billis expect to win? We will ask him.
And later, a major development for the Dodgers. Matt Kemp, looking like Matt Kemp. That's trouble for the rest of baseball in the National League. Matt Kemp.
And you're a Dodger fan now, right? Not a Cub fan?
You know.
Isn't that it, basically? In a story we broke earlier, the national championship is tonight. Hopefully that's not news to our main man, Jay Billis, who joins us now from North Texas.
Dallas.
To break it down. Here we go. Let's start with this. John Calipari keeps referring to some mystery tweak he made that turned his team around. What on earth is he talking about?
I don't really know. I've watched a lot of tape of Kentucky, and I think they have made some changes in their offense and the way they run it. There's less of the dribble, drive, motion stuff, and there's a shorter menu of offensive options and sets that they run. Some of the stuff that they ran against Michigan and against Louisville, they didn't run at all against Wisconsin. Wisconsin was more some pin-down actions and trying to get, and ball screen action, trying to get into the lane. They were driving the lane. And my guess is they'll do a similar thing against UConn. They might run some different actions to get into it, but they're going to try to get to the basket and try to get to the glass and really try to pound them inside.
Well, Jay, obviously we've been breaking down things John Calipari has been doing for 20 years now. But let's talk about Kevin Ollie for a second, who is so new to the scene. What is it that you've seen that characterizes his style of coaching so far?
You know, Michael, he's going to do what the situation calls for. And there is a little bit of an NBA mentality to the strategy of that. But at the same time, he's got a real college kind of rah-rah mentality, you know, everybody together and 5-as-1 on the floor, stuff like that. But he goes after matchup advantages on the floor. They run pick-and-roll action. They'll use Shabazz Napier on the ball, off the ball. They'll use him as a screener and then bring him off another screen. They'll isolate DeAndre Daniels as a pick-and-pop big or down in the post. They just do a bunch of different things. And he's also he provides a lot of confidence. I think the thing about earlier in the year when they came to Texas on one road trip and they got beat by Houston and SMU and those games weren't really close, he took his team to AT&T Stadium where the Final Four is being played and told them, here's where we're going to be playing in the Final Four. Now, I wouldn't have believed that kind of thing at the time. You're thinking, hey, just win your next game, Final Four. What are you kidding? But he wanted to put that vision in their heads, and it's worked out incredibly well. And I know he's got a great point guard in Shabazz Napier that's a believer. But to be able to have that credibility with your team, you tell them one thing, here's our destination, and they reach it. I mean, now your credibility's off the charts with them.
Let's talk about the guards for a second. Small, quick guards on Connecticut, big guards on Kentucky. Who do you think has the advantage?
I think Napier and Boatwright have the advantage. But I think that the Harrison twins, Andrew and Aaron Harrison, have got more around them. And that will probably be the difference. I do think that Boatwright and Napier will be able to really harass them and get up underneath them and be disruptive defensively. We've talked a lot about that lately. Maybe push them out a little further than they want. But they've also got some other options when they get the ball to James Young and Julius Randle. There are some other things they can do. And they're not a point guard-centric team where a point guard's got the ball in his hands all the time like Scottie Wilbekin of Florida. So I tend to think they'll be a little bit more difficult to take out of what they do than Florida was.
We will get you out of here on this. You famously had Michigan State to win. I know I had Louisville. Wilbon, who did you have?
Florida.
None of us had the teams that are in it right now. As you look at this game, who are you picking to win?
I'm sticking with Michigan State, Tony.
Good job.
I'm not changing.
Good job.
No, look, I think UConn has got a wonderful opportunity to win this game because of their guards and because of DeAndre Daniels. But I do think that rebounding is going to be the issue, and I think that Kentucky is going to clip them. I think it's going to be a game in the mid-60s, and Kentucky is going to come out a winner.
Thank you, as always, Jay. Enjoy it.
Thank you, Jay. Appreciate it.
Thank you, guys.
I think he's getting catcalled out there. Have you heard that? You have people screaming at him. What is that? We're taking a break. When we come back, we'll look back at the time Brutus the Buckeye got knocked horizontal.
Plus, J.R. Smith sets an NBA record. Bryce Harper admits to feeling lost. You remember what former Cub manager Lee Ely would say about people out there like that in the middle of the day?
Yeah. Of course. Happy time, people. Happy 50th birthday, Russell Crowe. The actor is seeking a comeback with his role as Noah. He won an Oscar in 2000 for Gladiator and was then arguably the hottest actor around. Sports Connection played James Braddock in Cinderella Man, and he owns a rugby team in Australia. Wilbon, wasn't there a cell phone incident where you wanted Russell Crowe deported?
2005, the Mercer Hotel in Soho, he drew blood on a concierge. Get him out of here. I know he's a great actor. You can't do that. Go. Get out.
Not so happy anniversary, Brutus the Buckeye. On or around this day last year, he took a snap at an Ohio State practice.
Look at this.
Got stood straight up and then laid out by linebacker David Perkins. Wilbon, this must be one of your favorite videos.
It is.
Not only do you hate Ohio State, but you hate mascots even more.
It's a Jadeveon Clowney situation on the hit. Yeah, I mean, other than the gorilla. The gorilla's the only mascot that should be allowed. Everybody else get out.
Happy trails, Matt Kuchar. For the second straight week, Kuchar gagged on Sunday.
No,
this time with a big lead. Kuchar rinsed one on 18, needed a bogey to force a playoff with Matt Jones. On the first hole of that playoff, Jones chipped in from 126 feet to not only win his first PGA tournament, but secure a place in this week's Masters.
Wow, Masters where there should have been practice today, but there wasn't.
Well,
rain canceled the session. Matty Kuchar's still going to be there. He's going to be at a
Well, of course he's going to be there.
So it didn't cost him anything except maybe a few bucks.
Because of money and the fact that this kid chipped in like that. Matt Jones, his first win, that was really, really good. Trying to find out where we messed up, Ollie.
Kevin Ollie was with Durant in OKC in 2010, the year before the year, or I'm sorry, I should say the year after they left Seattle. And Manhattan University has retained Steve Masiello as head coach. School saying today he'll return to the program once he has completed his undergraduate degree from the University of Kentucky.
You know what?
What?
That's a good ending.
It's a reasonable
That's a good
requirement,
ending.
right?
Big finish. Here we go.
Let's do it.
J.R. Smith, your boy. 22 threes in the Knicks loss to the Heat. Your reaction?
The Knicks are 2 games behind Atlanta. Your team trailing Atlanta for the 8th spot.
He made 10 of 22.
Matt Kemp hit 2 home runs, his first at Dodger Stadium since 2012. Significant?
Yes, I mean, he was a great player.
Before the injuries,
he comes back to that form. They maybe don't have to worry about Yasiel Puig on the bench.
A little less.
19-year-old women's golfer Lexi Thompson won her first major yesterday. Big deal.
She seems to be a great player. You know what? Put her on the cover of Golf Digest and whatever she wants to wear. Big-time player. Undefeated UConn, undefeated Notre Dame, playing each other in the championship. Women's title game tomorrow night. You excited?
I am, and I'm going to start with the game. It might be over too late for me. What I like most about it, not only the undefeated, the coaches, Gino Auriemma and Muffet McGraw, they hate each other.
I don't believe they do.
I
think it's like pro wrestling.
Did you watch?
I don't believe it.
Really?
I don't believe it.
Last one, the Nats sat Bryce Harper yesterday, who admitted to feeling lost at the plate right now. Uh-oh.
You know, even if you look at it, are we getting to the point of having fatigue over Bryce Harper already? Maybe a little bit.
We're out of time. We'll try to do better the next time, and I'm Tony Kornheiser.
Oh, you're Nats. I'm Mike Wilbon, same time tomorrow, Knuckleheads. Check out the PTI podcast on iTunes.
Hey, Carrie and Foster, shout out. Getting it done.
PTI. These days, you can get practically anything on demand, like this podcast. Did you know you can even get postage on demand? You can with Stamps.com. No more going to the post office. No more waiting in line. Just go to Stamps.com and print all the postage you want, anytime you want. Anything you can do at the post office, you can do right from your desk with Stamps.com. Buy and print official U.S. postage for any letter or package using your own computer and printer. And, unlike the post office, Stamps.com never closes, so you can get postage whenever you need it. Right now, get this special offer from Stamps.com when you use promo code PTI, a no-risk trial plus a $110 bonus offer that includes a digital scale and up to $55 free postage. Don't wait. Go to Stamps.com and, before you do anything else, click on the microphone at the top of the home page and type in PTI. That's Stamps.com, promo code PTI.
What makes the Indy 500 the greatest spectacle in racing?
Back home again.
We are green. Everyone in the grandstands are on their feet.
You're now a winner of the Indianapolis 500, my friend.
The Indianapolis 500, Sunday at 11 a.m. Eastern, 8 a.m. Pacific on ABC.